Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 6th grade concept of properties of operations. This is standard 6.7D in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 9 off the 2021 released STAAR test. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and then we will look at our answers together. So we need to find an expression that is equivalent to this 53p plus, and then we've got parentheses, 16p plus 7p. So it's nice, we're just adding three different terms here, 53p, 16p, and 7p. So we can do this two different ways. First, let's use the short way. If we know our properties of operations, we know now we could do a few different things here. So let's see what happens if we use the associative property of operations here. So the associative is the grouping. So I'm going to just put that in parentheses here. So the grouping property of operation says that as long as the operation doesn't change, and in this case we're just using addition, also works when you're using multiplication as well. As long as the operation doesn't change, you can change the groups. So take a look at this. We've got 53 plus 16p plus 7p. We really don't need those parentheses. They're not doing anything because everything's just going to be added all together. So these parentheses are actually useless. If we wanted to, we can just change the grouping to 53p plus 16p plus 7p. And all we did was just change the group. We added 53p and 16p first, because since they're all just being added together, it's not really going to change anything. If we wanted to use the commutative property, that would be the order property. So what that says is that when you're adding or multiplying, once again, you can flip the order. It's not going to make any difference. So if we do the 53p plus, and let's keep that group the same, but we just kind of flip these two. We just do the 7p plus 16p. Wouldn't make much difference because they're both being added together. And then you've got the distributive property, and those are the three big ones. There's a few others. So the distributive property is going to be the breaking apart. And what that says is that's uses a little bit more algebraic reasoning. You could take something, and if there's a common element, and you can distribute it out. So we could, if we wanted to, take our 53p, and we could take this, see this common element, this p? If we wanted to, we could take that p out, and we could add that 16 plus 7, because that p would then be multiplied by the 16 and the 7. Now, these are three things we can do here. You probably noticed that it was actually our very first associative grouping. That's really what we did here. That 53p plus 16p, we just regrouped it here. So that's an equivalent expression. So that's going to be our answer. Another option is just to replace each of these, this p here, with a simple term. If you want, you can replace it with 1. If you think that might give you a false positive, you can replace it with 2, but let's just replace it with 1. Let's just say p equals 1. So what do we get here? We get 53 times 1 plus 16 times 1 plus 7 times 1. So really it's just 53 plus 16 plus 7. 16 and 7 is 23. So 53 plus 23, that would be 76. And then what we can do is we can just replace each of these with 1 and see which one gets us that 76. And we already know that that D is going to give us that 76 because it doesn't matter how we group the addition here. And you see that these three are going to be incorrect because look at, they include multiplication. If we're changing the signs, it's going to be completely different. That operation is going to change everything. We got three different multiplications there. B actually has two different multiplications. That's going to make it much too large. And so our answer is going to be D.